Mirdita të gjithëve. Është kënaqësi e posaçme që të rimikpresim Presidenten e Komisionit Europian,
again the President of the European Commission
të ngarkuar me aktivitet.
On a day that is quite intense and filled with activities, not only because of the President's tour in the region that kicks off with Albania, but also due to the investment forum between the European Union and the Western Balkans that is hosted for the first time.
Do të mikpres një numër të konsiderueshëm sipërmarrjesh nga gjithë rajoni.
A significant number of
Dhe synojmë
companies from across the region. Our aim is to turn this into a tradition for the coming years.
Me Presidentin kemi pasur një bashkëbisedim që ka prekur të gjitha
had a conversation with the President touching upon all the topics of common interest. And obviously,
mbetet një moment shumë I rëndësishëm dhe që ne vlerësojmë.
It is a very important moment to us that we indeed appreciate very much the fact that the current Commission and the President give a special importance to the Western Balkans, as well as place particular focus on the process of approximation of the EU countries and the Western Balkans. We spoke about the progress of Albania's negotiation process with the European Union in our perspective, but also, as far as I heard from the President, this is a process that is progressing quite smoothly and swiftly. On the other hand, we talked about the new growth plan that the European Union and the Commission, helmed by President Von der Leyen, has made available to the Western Balkans, giving an opportunity to each and every country to fund in the framework of reforms and goals, let's say, to fund these countries to support further the reforms that are being undertaken. I am very happy to say that we got a very positive assessment by the President at this point, and we will continue to fulfill precisely and with high dedication all those tasks we've taken over. We also spoke of reinforcing cooperation in the region, as well as on strengthening security in the region, considering how indispensable it is to be closely tied amongst ourselves, as well as with the European Union, not only geographically speaking, at the service of what is pursued by the European Union. We also touched upon the issue of the Ukrainian resistance against the Russian aggression. At this point as well, we fully concord that we must continue to unsparingly support Ukraine, because amongst other things, There is an ongoing clash in that place between the perspectives and values of the European Union and the democratic world with another perspective of the world that is based on threatening and challenging such values. This is a brief summary I could bring to you, extending special thanks to the European Commission, not for the sake of the protocol or just to be formal, but due to the fact that the work we are carrying out to move forward the internal processes connected to the reforms, to the negotiation chapters would not have been as successful as it is had we not had the constant support of the Commission and all the partners therein who interact on the daily with our team. Obviously, I wish to thank President von der Leyen not only for coming back to Albania, but also for the fact that she comes with an unwavering position favoring Albania's membership into the European Union.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Dear Edi, it's a pleasure to be back in Albania, and it's a pleasure to begin my traditional annual Western Balkan tour here in Tirana. And my first message is very clear. Albania is on the right track towards the European Union. You've come a long way. You've made progress, but I want to emphasize that there is a stunning and outstanding record speed acceleration in the last 3 to 4 years. 5 of 6 negotiation clusters are already open. We plan to open the last one this autumn. And I know the personal effort you, Prime Minister, and your team have invested in this journey. Your goal is to close negotiations by 2027. This is ambitious, but we like ambitions. And let me assure you, we will be with you on every single step of that way, because the geopolitical momentum is now. Russia's aggression against Ukraine has reshaped our continent. Every European nation must choose its place, and Albania has made its choice very clearly. You're fully aligned with the European Union's foreign and security policy. Together, we are acting as one. Getting closer is not only about geopolitics, it's also about smart business. And we will discuss this at the investment conference later today. Indeed, 2 years ago, we launched the growth plan for the Western Balkans, and the principle is very straightforward. Your economy gains access to our single market and new European investments. In exchange, you deliver key reforms. This is how we get a level playing field with the Western Balkans and the European Union single market. So in sum, the door of sectors of the single market is open to your companies, but our companies also gain a bigger common market. So it's a real win-win situation. And the growth plan potential has the potential to double the economy of the Western Balkans in this decade. We see it's already starting to deliver. Let me give you 3 precise examples. The first one is that you really have made strong progress on key reforms. Thanks to this, I am glad to announce the disbursement of 100 million euros. Now it's about implementation, and I know that you're well on track. This is the road to access, for Albania to access all the money under the growth plan. It's close to 1 billion. Second, the single euro payment era, in short, SEPA, I remember 2 years ago when we first spoke about Albania joining SEPA. At that time, this looked as extremely ambitious and a challenging project. Only 2 years ago, you've made it happen in record time again. Since last week, transfer of money between Albania and the European Union is safer, and it's much, much cheaper. So a big advantage now for the citizens and the companies. My third example is roaming. In 2023, here in Tirana, we achieved a landmark agreement with operators. You very well remember that. Next year, we will abolish all roaming charges between Albania and the European Union. This is good for business. This is good for tourism. This is especially good for bringing our people together. And Prime Minister, dear Edi, my final message is this. Perhaps the strongest case for enlargement is not economic and geopolitical, but it's the people. Albania wants Europe. A recent poll shows that if a referendum were held today, 92% of Albanians would vote for EU membership. And across our continent, young Europeans are with us and with you. 2/3 of those aged between 15 and 40 years support the enlargement. And this is the clearest signal of all. Our young generations want to live in a stronger, safer, and united European Union. So, dear Edi, I wish you every success as you continue the path towards accession to the European Union, and you can count on me to support you on every step of the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Euronews Albania. Pyetjen e parë kam për ju, zonja presidente. Për vite me radhë, Bashkimi Europian ka thënë se dera është e hapur për
But it seems like this door is not yet open, and Albanians actually have heard so much about processes, chapters, negotiations. When is this door going to be open? What is left to be done? The question for you, Mr. Prime Minister, is about the same topic. You often have criticized the EU for its red tape. Do you believe that, despite such red tape, the EU will manage to make Albania a member by 2030? Thank you.
So we always are saying, rightly so, that enlargement is a merits-based process, and the merits that Albania deserves are visible by now. As I just said at the beginning, it was a normal process of opening clusters and working on the reforms to join the European Union. I must say, for me, it's very impressive to see the acceleration, the speed that increased in the last 3 to 4 years. And I'm always impressed because you, Prime Minister, and the Albanian people are telling me, yes, we want to join the European Union, but we know that these reforms are, in general, good for us as democracies to strengthen our country. And this is tangible and visible here in Albania. The success of the last years, I mentioned the SEPA, I mentioned the roaming, but also know the growth plan that is really working well in Albania. We will have the investment conference. All these are positive steps forward, so I can only say I'm deeply impressed by the spirit that is here in Albania, and we're very focused on your ambition to be done by 2027.
Pyetja që mu drejtua mua ishte mbretërëse për faktin që
was quite impressive. For the fact that all of us, and I personally, not only believe what we say, but based on such conviction, some time ago we conducted a whole election campaign where we asked Albanians to give us their support, to give us a strong mandate for Albania in the European Union in 2030. In this sense, I would say that this question is thrilling. In terms of what I have said on the European Union, I would say that I said what I said since a relatively long time, and I stand by it. Because at that point in time, the European Commission recommended that the negotiations opened to the Council, and the Council itself refused due to 2 or 3 countries that seem to become a hindrance to the process. We have been going through some times now and experiencing a new reality of the relationships between Albania and the European Union. This is why the question was memorable, as at the present we are at a situation in which, as the President said, we've opened 5 out of the 6 clusters of negotiations within only 11 months, which is a record time when it comes to the process. Of course, we have fulfilled our tasks. Nobody gives you a gift in Brussels. You need to earn everything. But there is no question that this process would not have had such a fast track if there had not been such a strong will by the Commission and the member countries. Because as far as I see it, the whole European Union has been unwavering for some time now that the new membership process must be supported, that the Western Balkans must be supported, that Albania must be supported. It is an overall willingness that is being shown. So this alignment with the Commission and the European Union is thorough. 2027 is not something we dreamt of here in Tirana, and we are actually showing Albanians. It is a year we have determined, together with the European Commission, as the ultimate goal for the negotiations. Indeed, this goal is tied to the tasks we perform. It is tied to the reforms, to the actions that are all part of a schedule and detailed therein. If we continue with the same pace, with the same perseverance and success at every step, we will succeed in fulfilling this goal, this objective by 2027. Well, as far as I remember, the Commission has always held true to its task. It's been positively assessing our work. The time will come then for the member countries to express their own position one by one to ratify our membership into the EU in their own parliaments, and that's a different stage. So, once again, I not only believe in this, but it is my absolute conviction that it is up to us to attain the 2027 goal, as it is my absolute conviction that the President will strongly stand by its position. That is not a current position she's holding. It is her position from day one. From the day one she was sworn in as the head of the Commission, stating that this is a geopolitical commission that goes beyond red tape. Well, red tape is there. We can't escape it. If we escaped bureaucracy or red tape, that would mean that CDO would not be so important for the European Union here in Tirana.
Greta Bullari,
ABC News. My question is both for the President as well as the Prime Minister, Edi Rama, and it is related to the closing of the clusters. You mentioned in your statement and said a record time in opening such clusters and chapters, but what are your expectations when it comes to the conclusion of such chapters? What are those priority areas, Mr. Prime Minister, that the government of Albania must pursue in coordination with the European Commission? Madam President, you mentioned in your speech that Albanians have shown in polls as well as after their elections that they love the European Union. Are these two sufficient as signs to go towards the closing of the negotiations?
I'm very confident that it will also be the case on the second part, that is the closing of the different clusters. And I think the real difference that happened a few years ago is indeed, as I said already, that Albania understood it's good for us. We want this. We want this process. And therefore, you're showcasing how well and speedy and ambitious you can be, not only in opening clusters, but certainly also in closing clusters.
Përgjigja është po aty ku ishte.
Well,
Që në fillim.
This is an answer that is the same as the previous one. So with my initial answer, when we say 2027, that means that chapters are going to be closed by 2027. So I do not understand in your question about the expectations. Our expectation is to close all chapters by 2027. On our side, we must complete all our homework here in order to succeed. And this task, this homework, is finely detailed for each chapter, as well as in the growth plan. So if today we receive such a positive assessment, that is a result of the tasks completed so far. But for us to continue to be positively assessed, we must continue to go ahead with our own homework and tasks. And I wish to repeat this, we do not do that. We do not meet our tasks or goals for the sake of the European Union or to satisfy those who further will endorse this membership in Paris and Berlin, and I was thinking of London, but London has gone absconding into a different direction. We actually perform and complete this homework for our own selves, for our own sake. Every task that is successfully completed here in the country makes Albania stronger and much more functional as a state. The integration process, the accession negotiation process, the process of opening and closing the chapters is for us a process of a democratic state building. By the end of the process, when the Commission says that we are done, that means that Albania receives a certificate. That based on the perspective, opinion of the EU Commission, we are a functioning democratic state, and this is for the sake of Albanians and the coming generations. Indeed, as such, we may enter the European Union, and the improvement process continues. It never ends. Even Germans, who for decades in a row have been held as the most perfect example, are not as perfect as you know, and they are realizing it themselves as well. It is a process. It is it is not something that ends. It is, however, a fact that we are at the heart of Europe, and we have the European Commission that is accompanying us. If we were outside such continent and did not have the European Union, it would have been impossible for us to build a functioning democratic state for 1001 reasons. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You go in the front door. Or this. Oh, this.